All right, hello everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of the Delusional Fan with Geraghty and McCloud. I'm Chris Geraghty. That right there is Ryan McCloud. Make sure you are subscribing to our YouTube channel. That is the best way for you to see and hear us here at the Delusional Fan. Also post on our Facebook and Twitter page if you like. We're really active, especially on Facebook, and so our fans will go over some of that a little bit later. Top 5 was pretty popular last week, so
yeah.
I think this week's will be good too. So, and then later today, make sure you tune in because we do have some fan participation stuff going on that I think everybody should enjoy. So, this past week was pretty interesting, Ryan.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I believe the last thing you said before Team Oak Strong was we're going to watch some good basketball this weekend.
They delivered.
Would you consider that good basketball?
I mean, it was entertaining. Yeah, absolutely.
So,
what wasn't good about it?
Well, we're going to get into that.
Yeah, sure.
What'd you do this weekend? Anything? Did you watch? Is that what you did?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Right. Me, my dad, and my godfather. Me and my godfather got after it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was funny though, or it was fun, I should say. I thought the game was good, man. That game was less disappointing than Game 7. I'm referring to Game 6, I guess, on Saturday night, right? Okay. But overall, and obviously we'll get into that with the collapse of OKC, but you can't ask for much more than a Game 7 in the NBA Conference Finals or Finals. So I'm okay with it, although a little disappointed. What about you? How was your weekend?
Good. I got to watch most of basketball. I can't stand watching basketball. It's very frustrating watching today's basketball, and we'll get into that a little bit later.
Absolutely.
What's frustrating for me, especially with watching somebody like Russell Westbrook. But no, I had a good weekend. I actually had a show I was announcing out in New York for some friends of mine that run a promotion called Gladius. So it's mixed martial arts and kickboxing. Had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I always love going to New York. This is upstate, if you guys have ever been up there. So
you weren't like in Manhattan?
No. But upstate New York's a blast. It's basically Wisconsin with a lot more hills and waterfalls, basically, is what it is. So
cool.
No, we had a good time, man. Good to be back doing the show.
Didn't know you were still doing those fights, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
What are we all getting into today?
Well, the first thing I want to talk about today is what I'm calling OKChoke.
Right. I like OKCollapse, but yeah.
OKCollapse. Just collapses.
Either way.
OKCollapse, OKChoke. Yeah. I just like the word choke because there's been some epic chokes in my time, and this was one of the best. Game 6, Game 7 were both, in my opinions, monster chokes. So, I don't know. Let's get right into it. Before we get into any numbers or anything like that, I've always said, and you and I have had this discussion before, I am not a Russell Westbrook fan.
And you're right. Yep. And I feel differently than you do about the whole situation. So, yeah.
But my pudding that the proof was in this weekend was Russell Westbrook making the decisions in Game 6 and Game 7. He has the ball 34% of the time, which is the most out of any player in the playoffs, which means he is running the offense.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show what he can do for you as a point guard.
Okay.
I just think he's as talented as he is, and I do like his, I know there's certain pundits on TV that talk about how he's ruthless and, he's a most unforgiving competitor. Fine.
Yeah, he's a killer.
He also makes some of the most boneheaded, stupid mistakes I have seen in a high-caliber playoff team.
That's crazy to me. I see the game differently, I guess. Durant makes as many mistakes, if not more, and really was, if any, and I'm going to get into that with my take, but of either of those two players, Westbrook didn't, he wasn't a bigger detriment to the team than Durant. Durant would catch and shoot so often in Game 6 and Game 7. Actually, not 7, Game 5 and Game 6, really. Would just catch and shoot, and everybody the theory used to be that Westbrook took away from Durant, and maybe that was the case in 2012. It's not anymore. It's flipped. Now it's Westbrook at least gets people involved.
Well,
he's at least getting 8 or 9 or 10 assists a game.
Start with, I want to forget. Let's start with Game 6 and Game 7. So let's go to Game 6 first.
Okay.
Game 6, in my opinion, is perfectly where I agree Durant didn't play very well.
Neither of them really did.
For the most part.
Yeah, right.
But, like, for instance, fourth quarter, Game 6, I want to focus on that. The game was extremely close leading up to that. There was what? The game was... OKC was up, I think, by 7, I think, leading to fourth, or was it 5 leading to fourth? Either way.
Yeah.
They got outscored in the fourth quarter 33-18. How does that happen when you have someone like Russell Westbrook leading the point?
Okay, and it's interesting you say that. And what I will get into, their bench. That's the difference.
Well, it's bench, and everybody was talking about how their coach, he's one of the better coaches. He outcoaches Steve Kerr. Not the case, because when I watched in the fourth quarter in both Game 6 and Game 7, what I saw was stagnant offense. I would see Russell Westbrook bring the ball up, isolation. Or I would see Russell Westbrook bring the ball up, hand the ball to Durant, isolation.
Yeah.
Everybody else just sat and watched. And so, Durant would take a double team poor shot, or Russell Westbrook would take a poor shot.
Right.
So there was no offensive movement whatsoever. And then you turn it around and watch what Golden State did, and it's basically hand the ball either to the MVP or Klay Thompson and set 4 picks for them until one of them gets an open shot. And right now, the way they're shooting, they're going to make minimum 1 out of every 2 in their three-pointers, so they're going to count more than Westbrook's and Durant's pad shot. So I just, when you're going to run a team like Russell Westbrook runs a team,
and you keep saying he runs the team. I understand what you're saying, his skill set and how he actually operates and manages the game. There is a game plan in place from the coaching staff and from the other players that need to follow suit.
The players have to play,
and that's what I'm saying.
Steph Curry runs the floor for Golden State, and when they need to turn it on, when they need to take the lead, he does it for them. He runs the floor and he does it for them by himself, using Klay, using Draymond, whatever he needs to do.
Yes,
he'll do it. And Russell Westbrook can't do it. He is incapable of doing it.
I don't think he's incapable of doing it. I think he's shown several times that he is capable of doing it, and he was a big part of them getting to the Western Finals this year. Look, this is my take. Everybody's going to look at Westbrook and Durant here, right? I mean, that's ultimately it's going to come down to their failure, and they can't make it work together. And looking back to 2012, you would have thought this team would be in the finals every other year, if not every year, right? And granted, they had Harden at the time, and who's to say whether that would have been a good or bad thing to keep him around. But everybody's going to look at them and call it their failure. And it's interesting, dude. Did you look at any of the numbers or hear any of the numbers of the bench play out of both teams? So really quick, games 5 through 7 combined, OKC, 37 points. That's their bench. 37 points in 3 games.
I know.
22 rebounds, 7 assists. Compared to Golden State's 59 points, they out-rebounded them 36-22 in those 3 games. Out-assisted 18-17. Now, you might, and I'm not saying you personally, people might go, that's still not, those are big numbers. And not only that, but isn't it coincidence that the bench point differential was 22 in the 3 games, their point differential in those wins for Golden State was 24.
Here's why that stat's meaningless. No matter what the bench play was, Oklahoma City had a lead in all of the games leading into the fourth quarter. Game 6 and Game 7. Had the lead.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter what the bench is, because in the fourth quarter, the bench doesn't play. So the lead is there. Your superstar players are in the game, and they can't hold a lead.
And again, I'm in agreement that it's for whatever reason it hasn't worked. I'm telling you, that's a big part of it. You can't sit here and say that their bench outplayed OKC's bench. That is the difference, in my opinion. The Stars are gonna put up the numbers. Curry's going to get you 30-40, so is Thompson. Same goes for Westbrook and Durant. Those guys are going to get their numbers every game. It comes down to the other players who can facilitate, who can make impactful plays. Iguodala D'ing up was huge, and that was, by the way, he was the Finals MVP last year.
And he lit up Durant.
He's a great defender,
especially in Game 6.
It's outside of points and rebounds and assists. They just stepped up they stepped up to the plate. They are the ones that got them through. It was. Again, it's everybody wants to point a finger at Durant and Westbrook and Curry and Thompson.
Because they are responsible for their bench play also. Look what Curry, Draymond, and Klay Thompson do for the Warriors. The bench rises up to join them in this goal.
Very much so.
You see their level, when Steph Curry's level goes up, the rest of the team, none of them are standing and watching. They're moving around, making shit happen. with Westbrook and Durant, they're the only two moving around, and everybody else is standing around not making shit happen.
So that goes almost to my point as well. You're asking for them to force other players to step up to their level. Look, I agree that they need to elevate the play of their teammates. That's a given. At some point, the other players need to play too. They need to step up and step up to the call as well.
Jordan punched guys in the face to get him to play.
And so again, I'm not going to sit here and deny the fact that there is something chemistry-wise wrong with that team. But I'm not going to sit here and put it all on Westbrook or Durant. And what do you think is going to happen to Durant?
I think he's gone.
Do you really?
Yeah. Unless somehow...
I don't think he's gone.
Unless OKC somehow pulls in a point guard and moves Westbrook to the 2, Durant's gone.
I think he stays. I don't think he's going to... I think he's too comfortable, and really, what else is... If he doesn't want to go to New York. Nobody wants to go to L.A. or New York anymore.
You know where he might end up? Boston. Yeah, Boston's got the cap room, and they've got a good young team around.
We're talking about Golden State in the middle of the season.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd want to go there.
That way, and by the way,
wouldn't make sense.
That wouldn't
make sense.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, to me, it wouldn't make sense. But all right, so tell me this.
Yeah.
Because I bet you and I differ on this. Did Golden State win or did OKC lose?
Again, I'm not. This is not a cop out. I really do think it was the elevation of their backs were against the wall. They stood up and made a stand, and once it's kind of. I feel like it may have been the popular thing to say, but I was guaranteeing it. Once they got to a Game 7, it was over, right? Mm-hmm. And so
and I had said that
Game
too.
5, you get the wind knocked out of you, and you have a chance to respond. Once you blow that next chance and you're tied and you're going in on the road, it's over.
Right.
And so I think it was a combination of both. I think they outplayed them in Game 5. Klay Thompson killed them in Game 5. Just shredded them and got them back into the series. And then once they just lost their momentum. And so I think yes, I would put it more on if I had to pick, it would be more on the side of a choke of OKC. I would. I would have to. They were up 3-1.
And I'm on that side too. And and it may sound like I'm not giving any credit to Golden State, so I'm going to quell that right now and say this. As much as I dislike today's game, they are definitely the best at it.
Yeah.
They're untouchable sometimes. And you brought up Klay. What he did, because it's like he almost lays dormant for a little while. You know? He's going through the motions, playing his defense, doing what he does, and then all of a sudden, steps out of the game. I need to make sure we're either going to be vying for the lead soon or getting the lead, and just shoots the lights out of the ball. I've never seen players other than guys like Jordan or think about guys who took over Shaq. Guys where they just decided it was my time to dominate the game.
Right.
But they have not one, not two, but 3 guys that can do that. Now, Draymond didn't play the greatest series.
A lot. Yeah.
He struggled, but he came up big in Game 6 and 7.
Look, man, shooters are streaky. That's like kind of the cliche, and those 2 guys aren't really that streaky. No. But Game 7 alone, Thompson went 0 for 7 to start the game and comes back and hits 3 threes and takes the lead. And it was over. Again, they come at you with so much. They're just constantly in attack mode, and how devastating it is to kind of gain back your 4-point lead, 6-point lead, 7-point lead, 2 threes. You're back. It's only a 1-point lead. Hey, look, and just really quick to your point of against my point of the bench. You're comparing this bench to the chemistry on Golden State is unlike anything I've ever seen. It really is.
Yeah,
that is some of the best chemistry I've ever seen on a team. They just feel each other on the court.
Most returning championship teams already have the chemistry.
Yes. Yep.
They don't need to build chemistry. Right. They've already won. Their cohesiveness is there. So yes, but it should be because they've won already.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. So before we move on from this segment, let's talk about the finals. It's the finals the NBA wanted. It's the finals most people predicted at the beginning of the season. So Cavs fully healthy finally versus Golden State starts tomorrow night. Mm-hmm. So, or for the folks watching this, starts tonight.
Yeah, right.
So, do you have any predictions? How many games? Who's going to win? Golden State, in my opinion, is obviously better than they were last year.
Yeah.
But
so is
LeBron's healthy, and so they're better too. Yeah.
I don't know if I have a pick yet. Here's the thing. I think I've made this clear to you. I've made this clear to most people I've talked to, and this is so irrational, and I get it. And for the first time in a very long time, I'm rooting for Cleveland. I'm rooting for. Not necessarily LeBron. They are the necessary evil right now. I don't, and again, I know it's irrational. It's all goes back to the Bulls, and I want that year to stand as the greatest single season. And any naysayer, if Golden State pulls it off, can say that this is the best single season team of all time, whether it's true or not. So I want Cleveland to win, and also watching that Believeland 30 for 30. I mean, dude, they need something. Throw them.
Well, they do. They've got the new heavyweight champion of the world. They finally got a title. Stipe Miocic. The new heavyweight champ from Cleveland.
I don't know if I can take them. Actually pick them to win over Golden State, though.
It's tough.
It is really.
I
tough,
want to
man.
too, but
I don't think I can.
My brain is telling me Golden State 6.
If I was gonna say, if anything, I would take Golden State 6 or 7, but I hope it's different. I hope it goes different. But I would have to take Golden State.
Yeah, I would think I'd be taking Golden
Turning
State.
champs, 73 wins. They just overcame a 3-1 deficit. They've got momentum. Yeah, dude. I can't pick against them right now.
And what I'm afraid is going to happen with Cleveland is they're going to try and match threes with Golden State, and they can't do it.
Yeah,
they're going to play 3 ball.
If they do play that game, they will lose the series. They'll lose in 5 or 6. Yeah. Yep.
All right, folks. So let us know what you think. Did OKC win? Did OKC lose? Did Golden State win? Little combination of both. What do you think about Russell Westbrook? Because I think he'd be on my, you know how you say there's when you're drafting for fantasy football and you're like, he's on my no draft list no matter how good he is.
Yeah.
Russell Westbrook is that guy for me. If I was an NBA executive, he would never put him on my team. Never.
Okay. You're talking about the best athlete in the NBA. That's okay.
LeBron James is the best athlete.
Pound for pound, I would give it to Westbrook. But anyway, on to the next.
So we'll be right back.